Okay, so if you've ever heard me play before, ever seen me give a lesson and talk about jazz harmony, about 2-5-1s, you may well have heard me play this shape. It is outlining the 2-5 of a 2-5-1 progression. Starting on the 5th of the 2 chord, and 5, minor 3, 1, flat 7. So there's our C minor, for instance, here. And we're going to F7, so we get major 3rd, 5, flat 7, and the 9, the natural 9. So we get our 2. And then in this case, I'm descending in half step. So before we resolve to the 1, I'm going to the next 2-5 shape, a half step down. So C minor 7 to F7, to B minor 7, to E7, and so on and so forth, all the way down. B flat to E flat, A minor to D, and we descend the entire instrument. What I think makes this a good study for a kind of either a warm-up or a short practice routine item, or a long one. Again, if you have the time, there's no time limit on how much time you can spend on these things, is that this is a really kind of a specific articulation that you need to play this if you want to get it to kind of bounce, if you want that time feel, if you want that swing time feel, especially if you want to wind up the tempo to where, you know, I got this from Michael Brecker, for instance. I heard a live clinic of Michael Brecker's, and he was talking about 2-5-1s and just played this shape. Of course, he's not the first person to play it. I've heard Dexter Gordon, Lester Young, Ben Webster, Gene Ammon, so many people play this shape. It really stuck out the way Mike Brecker used it. He played it kind of slow like this, but then he really let rip. Oh, that wasn't particularly clean. But the way he was able to get there, I'm not able to get there, by the way, anywhere as close as him, but the way he was able to get there was from a very specific articulation, I'm sure, a very specific saxophone fingering. And the way I've been developing that for the bass is, okay, how do I have as much economy of movement in terms of my picking? And where can I make up notes that I don't have to pick on the right hand? Where can I hammer or where can I pull? So it's a nice case study in being specific about your articulation and the way you perform the shape. So the way I like to do it, there are lots of pulls and hammers actually. So I pluck, 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 pluck. So 4 plucks. And then it's a pull off and a hammer. And I only pluck 4 notes the first time, because when I move down a half step, I'm sliding. So it's really a slide, pluck, pluck, pluck. So it's a slide and 3 plucks. 1, 2, 3 plucks. And then a pull off, a hammer. Now, with my right hand, I hope you can see that I'm exaggerating the amount of time that passes where I don't have to pluck a note. I'm doing that for a visual reference only. This is not something I would do in my practice routine. It's not something I want to get in a habit of. I just want to show that there's actually quite a lot of time in there where you don't have to pick with the right hand. So this helps when you want to bring up the tempo, when you want to create some density with the idea. Perhaps you're using it in a solo to create tension. Just that is how that kind of speed is possible. Of course, I really recommend that you, in fact, there's no way around it. You have to work this idea as slow as possible. And make sure you're playing with the same articulation, slides, hammers, pulls, and everything with the left hand at that slower tempo. So when you do start winding it up, it's so completely natural to you that you can't possibly make a mistake. It's that thing of practicing not until you don't make mistakes, but until you can't make mistakes. And I think this 2-5 idea is a really good case study in that.